10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
It's a little bit wet, it's a little bit dark, it's a little bit cool. Subject to change without notice. Welcome to Alabama weather. It'll change in 5 more minutes. Ding! Greetings, good evening, how the hell are you? Welcome in to Beyond Ringside. Fast Eddie Lane, under an umbrella and a tarp, and about 5 or 6 other articles I prefer not to discuss right now. Live from the Full Range Entertainment Control Center in beautiful Birmingham, yet wet hell, Alabama. Like to welcome in tag team partners Mark Mabo Bowman.
I would like to dispel any and all rumors that there's a large orange rabbit running around saying that I've stopped taking my medication. I just want to go ahead and just dispel those.
Like to welcome in tag team partner Brooks Logan.
Hey, what's going on, man? It is disgusting outside.
Like to welcome in tag...
I ain't kidding about that.
Yeah, really. Like to welcome in tag team partner, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis.
I think it's time for everyone to do one thing, and that's do the Harlem Shake.
I thought you were going to say the Harlem Shuffle. Thank God you didn't say the Super Bowl
the
Shuffle.
Harlem Shake.
Yeah. Either the Harlem Shuffle. Wasn't that Mick Jagger?
No, I think it was Keith Richards.
There you go. All right. And, of course, you had the Super Bowl
The joke
Shuffle.
being that Keith Richards likes black women. That being the joke.
There you go. I know.
Brown sugar.
Good song, too. Actually, the whole damn Greatest Hits album still rocks after all these years. First off, hope everybody's had a great week. Second off, got a loaded lineup coming in a little bit later on. Top of the hour, scheduled to be joined in about 25 minutes from right now. I'm hoping I pronounced this correctly. Ricky Otazu from NWA Liberty States Wrestling, scheduled to be joining us at the top of the hour. And
Eddie, real quick, hey, just say Ricky O. He just goes by the Ricky O.
Ricky O. Sounds like a plan
Ricky
to me.
O.
That way I can't mispronounce it.
That's what I told him. I was like, how do you pronounce your name? Because I want to listen to Eddie screw it up.
Did he say Otazu?
No, he just said call me Ricky O.
Okay. However, speaking of before we move to our guest who's going to be coming on with us in just under an hour and a half, if you managed to catch Ring of Honor, a lot of people were definitely left with the O face, if I can make that play in really horrible transition, because of a move that Athena pulled during her match with Mischief, which just had me sitting back going, holy hell. If you had a chance to catch Ring of Honor this week on the Sinclair broadcast group, you were treated to a Women of Honor match, featuring mainstay, Mischief. Was still absolutely incredible. Taking on out of the Texas area, Athena. Now, Mabo, you said you had a chance to catch that match, right?
I was actually in the middle of it when you called, so no, I didn't get to finish watching it. So thanks for spoiling the fact that something awesome happens.
Something awesome happens.
Well, it doesn't really matter because my future ex-wife, Veda Scott, was on commentary, so
yeah,
it could have been two rhinos wearing silk pajamas having butt sex, and I wouldn't have paid attention. I'd have been focusing on Veda.
No, Kevin Steen and Rhino were in the main event for that particular show, but we'll leave that for another discussion a little bit later in the broadcast. I will say this. It is great to see ROH and the Women of Honor. Thoroughly enjoyable match. Loved it. Mischief, great as always. Athena made a great account for herself. And Mabo, I'm just going to go ahead and blow it right out of the water. Athena pulled from a rope, coming off the rope, a corkscrew DDT, or a corkscrew cutter, and it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, I'm sitting back going, how in the hell? And it was so nicely done. And I don't know if you managed to catch the entire match yet or the first part of the match, but I'm just thinking archery is a wonderful thing. And if you know that part of the match, you know what I'm talking about. Bow and arrow. All in all, I'd say right off the bat. Now, Wicked, Brooks, have either of y'all had a chance, Wicked first, to catch ROH this week?
No. As I've stated before, I don't really get to catch anything on a national level. Anything that's not in my bubble of professional wrestling, I usually don't get a chance to catch it. No offense to any of you guys out there. I'm glad you're all out there doing great work, but I'm glad that they let the women go. Athena is a heck of a wrestler, kind of green. In Mischief, her work speaks for itself. I have not seen this match, but if you have a bad match with Mischief, you're probably either Taylor Hendricks or you're probably going to be signed very soon to wrestle Brandy Scotch somewhere. So,
Brooks Logan.
I haven't got to watch Ring of Honor in a long time, so I didn't get to see it. Maybe maybe I can catch that on the internet somewhere. At least see that one move. I'd like to see that.
Good luck with that. It's hard to find on the internet. I tell you what, in our market of Birmingham, Alabama, it's going to come on at 11 o'clock p.m. Central on My 68. So if you get a chance to catch, this will be the second showing of it. Last night, 6 p.m. the first show. They play it again tonight at 11 on My 68 in the Central Alabama area.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah. I'll check it out tonight then.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when Nitro was doing 2 shows back to back. It's like, we'll show it from 8 to 10 and from 12 to 2. Hey, good idea. That means I can actually still watch Raw at the same time because I had 2 televisions in my room. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and take one other thing. When they had the Monster 8-man tag with Caprice Coleman, Cedric Alexander, the Briscoes taking on Scum and Rhino, actually very well executed. From the melee to start it out all the way to the end, it was actually a super cool match. And the opening match, Mabel, you did say you had a chance to catch.
Yeah, with ACH and
Matt Taven.
Some honky.
The Taven kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's your comment on it, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, actually, I love the match. ACH kicked ass from start to finish. Taven showed why they are pushing him in the top prospect tournament, and it was just really fun to watch. This is ROH bouncing back strong, and I'm really happy with that. Also, the little situation they had in play, and I'm trying to remember where it fell, but I'm going to go and for those who've had a chance to see it, you know what I'm about to say, and I'm about to go off for about a minute. Yet, lo and behold, they invest the money to bring Matt Hardy on camera on the television show, on the TV taping, and he looked like somebody you would pick up out of the gutter at the corner of 5th and 14th on a Saturday at 3 a.m. Why? Frickin' why? Matt
For the name value.
Say what?
For the name value, because nobody in ROH can draw horseflies besides Davey Richards. So that should tell you something. If I was on the Ring of Honor roster, I would probably be thinking about finding a new job. If they have an education or a degree in something, they might want to go and use that degree, in all honesty. Because if Matt Hardy needs to be brought on just to sell your product that you've busted your ass for, you know what? Maybe that's not the place for you. I'm glad that they're no longer doing the Smoky Mountain Wrestling style booking. I'm glad that they have grown up and decided to go back to their homegrown talent. But let's be honest, they relied so much on Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin, now Rhino, and Matt Hardy, that is unbelievable. You have some great talent up under there. But seriously, guys, you should all be offended, severely offended. And if you're not, this is probably the wrong sport, the wrong business, and the wrong art form for you. If you have a communications degree, you might want to communicate your ass straight to technical college.
Probably. I mean, and they have the television title on Adam Cole. The kid's good. The kid's got talent, and he continues to get better. But the thing about it is, you really don't, let the champion do his talking inside the ring. You don't need to build up this storyline with somebody that nobody really gives a damn about. And I'm sorry, this is no personal attack on Matt Hardy, so for everybody in the bloomin' Twitterverse, get the tampon out of your ass right off the bat. Because I'm not directly picking on Matt Hardy as an individual. I'm picking on the fact that he's completely and totally irrelevant in the world of professional wrestling at this particular point in time. And having him come over looking like I said earlier, like a complete street urchin that you pick up off the street at 3 a.m. on Saturday to come on your product just completely and totally blows me out of the water. That is the only ONLY negative that I have about that entire episode this week. Other than that one little thing, Ring of Honor absolutely kicked ass this week, and it was a great show. Now,
Eddie,
yes.
can I ask you, what in your mind makes Matt Hardy irrelevant in the sport of professional wrestling?
Okay. One, I understand you disappear when you fall off the face of WWE, and the way you fall off the face of WWE. But in this particular regard, when everything that has appeared pertaining to that individual has been negative, it's one thing if you can generate positive press. If you can keep positive spins on everything and positive press on everything, that keeps you very well glowing in the public eye. But when just about everything that you see and or hear come up about a person, that person loses relevance because they equate that to drama. Drama becomes irrelevant in this business, especially, behind the scenes drama, that's one thing, it's gonna happen. But by the same token, once again, I've never been a Matt Hardy fan. I was a fan of the Hardy Boys, but I've never been a Matt Hardy fan from the time that he and Jeff broke up, because I thought it was just completely the V1 gimmick was great at first and just completely started to fade, and it seemed like Matt Hardy was a one-trick pony. And you know how long those last in this business.
Ultimate Warrior made a career of it. Brooks, do you feel that Matt Hardy is irrelevant in professional wrestling?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Brooks, do you feel that Matt Hardy, yeah.
I kind of agree with Eddie on here, man. I've never been a fan of the guy. I'm not a fan of either Hardy, really. I wasn't a fan of the Hardy Boys, but is he irrelevant? I'm not going to say totally irrelevant just because him and his brother both have a decent past. When they first started as a tag team, they were pretty popular, and they were good together, I thought. I wasn't a fan of them, but I thought they could work. The only relevance he really has is because he had a name years ago, so I think that's what him and his brother both have made a career off of, but I'm not going to say he's totally irrelevant to answer your question, but he's getting there. He's getting close.
Mabo, do you feel that Matt Hardy is irrelevant or totally irrelevant in professional wrestling?
Right now, from, I guess, the 2012 year in pro wrestling to 2013, yeah, Matt Hardy is completely, and as of right now, he is totally irrelevant. First of all, when he left the WWE, I enjoyed some of his stuff in the WWE, not all of it. Then he had a piss poor showing in TNA, whether that was his fault or it was on the fault of whoever was, had the book in TNA. Although I had to be, I say it was probably hand in hand to his just whatever he was thinking, whatever he was doing with, filming his downward spiral on YouTube, when then they're like, there's no problem, and then, I'm going to get help, I'm going to rehab, and then he does something else stupid with drugs and or alcohol, and it just the dissolution of Matt Hardy himself as a human being, not as a pro wrestling name or figure or whatever, but as a human being, was just horrible and tragic. And then he goes and gets himself, taken care of, and he's been doing smaller indie shows, making appearances, doing whatnot. But right now, to even to come on the third biggest company in the United States, I'm not going to say the world, but I would say in the United States, and try to get himself into the spotlight. I don't know. It's like, I think he's irrelevant. He's got to do something better than coming back as an a-hole after picking himself up by the bootstraps, and then come back as an a-hole and saying what he says. So I think right now he is irrelevant. 6 months from now, he could have relevancy again. 6 months from now, he could be back in the WWE. You never know. But as of right now, February 10th? As of February 10th, 2013, I think Matt Hardy is completely irrelevant.
Now, let me follow up on something, Wick. When they were doing a build to Final Battle with Matt Hardy and Adam Cole, and Matt was doing the cutesy promos about the parallels between Adam Cole and Matt Hardy. Those were almost funny. Those were almost entertaining. And it was just that borderline thing. But once again, you've been out of the public eye for a while. Yes, your past has been documented, what's happened to you about the rehab and everything else, trying to get your life back together, and I understand that. But in this circumstance, the better way to have played that, in my humble opinion, would have been for Matt Hardy to come back in, make it a challenge to Adam Cole. You're the television champion. I want to test my mettle in Ring of Honor, and then let him turn in the ring. Build on the fan support, play the sympathy card to get the pay-per-view buys and the butts in the chair. Hey, Matt Hardy's coming back. Hey, Matt Hardy's taking on Adam Cole. Man, this should be a really good match. And then you do the turn in the middle of the ring during the middle of the match. Kaboom. Guess what? You got an instant heel right there that's going to keep that storyline going all the way past the first of the year and then some. But for him to make his first appearance on ROH TV of this year, looking like a street bum, I rest my case. Disheveled, unmade, looked completely and totally nothing like he did when he was on TNA. But even when he left WWE, you're thinking if you're coming back for at least an pay-per-view and a marginal television appearance, you're going to do something to clean yourself up and make you look like the person that everybody remembers to a degree. Even Scott Hall tried that when he colored his hair. And Scott Hall was in much worse condition. Of course, I'm still a huge Scott Hall fan because that sympathy factor there too. But I'm just saying, in that particular realm, there were so many other ways that Matt Hardy himself could have played this. And it's just ball dropped. Wick, back to you.
Hardy should have come back as a babyface, plain and simple,
Thank
for
you.
kind of the reasons that Mabo was given. Any man that stands up and fights their way back, as Mabo so eloquently said, pulls themselves up by their bootstraps. When that happens, automatically, because what we are in America, we're forgivers.
Yeah.
You can do pretty much anything with the exception of eating black men, as Dahmer did. God forbid, coming out as a openly gay homosexual, I think that's redundant, openly gay homosexual, but,
yeah, Roseanne O'Donnell.
Openly homosexual, professional athlete in our time that's active and, molesting little children, I think about the only things you can't come back from, in our great, entity that is professional sports. Wrestling is professional wrestling, plain and simple, whether it's sports entertainment, whether it's wrestling. It's professional wrestling. What we do is professional wrestling.
Yeah.
We get paid for this. Some of us actually live off the money we make on our appearances on the events that we're booked on. With that being said, Matt Hardy kicked so many demons out of his life that he was able to come back as this. To me, Matt Hardy is still relevant for this reason. The main reason that a lot of guys get into the independent is that they want to get on national TV. Even with the deal that they have, Ring of Honor still isn't really that national. While we all get it, we're all still not familiar with the names. Even some of the TNA guys have become household names somewhat. Matt Hardy has so much that he can teach the guys backstage, and I think that's where Hardy is at his best. Poignantly, you can look at him and say, hey, don't end up like that guy. But his mentality, his matches, even when he was in TNA, even when he was obviously, let's be honest, we've with the exception of Mabo, we've all done some type of drug, some type of, been under the influence of some type of something, whether we've eaten too much chocolate, whether we've smoked something, whether we've taken something, whether we've taken too much NyQuil. We've always had those effects. And for him and his brother to go out and obviously be under those influences and to do what they did is uncalled for. But Matt Hardy psychologically can get these guys ready if he gets in that mentality, if he gets in that mode. There's certain guys out there, and Eddie, we all know that guy. We've all worked an event with that guy.
Yep.
And Brooks and Mabel, you guys know, you guys are close enough in the business that you have friends in the business, that you guys know those guys that will pull somebody aside and tell them when they've done wrong, but not only that, how to correct it. And that's what Matt Hardy, his relevance, kind of leads to. Does he make Adam Cole a better wrestler?
No.
Does he make the guys around him better? Does he make money? Does he draw in eyes that usually wouldn't be seen? That's what all of this accumulates to
Wicked.
when it comes to the career of Matt Hardy in Ring of Honor. If he does that, and I do believe just to a certain degree he does, because Adam Cole's, his matches have gotten better. I have not seen what he's done with Matt Hardy, but leading up to that, of course, through Corey Hollis, through Chip Day, through Mike Posey, through Damon Christopher, these guys always point to, man, you should see what happened. And of course, Eddie asks me every week, did I watch it? And it sounds selfish, but you guys know, I do this radio show. I also do the To Be Determined show. I have a family, I have a career, and I have a shoot job. And, with all that going on, I really don't get to watch too much of it, but when it's brought to my attention, when certain things are sent to me, I get to see it. Matt Hardy does make Adam Cole better. Plain and simple. So in that aspect, he is relevant, because if it's your TV champion, and most of the storylines are used and most of the angles are supposedly and as it should be gone through television, then automatically when you make one match better, the match after that should be better off what you build, because that's what a card is. It's just building all the way to the main event each week. We all know this. Now I feel like I've broken off into the To Be Determined show. I'm actually going out of class. See, that's Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
There you go.
On Beyond Ringside Radio Network. You actually hear exactly conversations like this.
Yeah, we do.
And yes, we do get kind of deep, and I do apologize, but I just feel like that Matt Hardy is still relevant, even to some degree.
Okay.
And so even to that some degree, if you make one person better, who's eventually going to make another person better, who's eventually going to make another person better, and so on, then you have done your job.
Then let's close out the topic with this particular question.
But I don't like Matt Hardy.
Okay. I'm going to ask this question of all three of you, and I want a simple yes-no answer.
Truth or dare.
You are promoting a show. You've got 1 month leeway time. You've gotten a phone call saying that Matt Hardy is available that night and he's going to charge you $350 to come do your show. Whoever you want to put him with and whatever style of match you want to put him in, do you book him? Yes or no? Mabo.
Yeah, if I'm looking to draw people, yes.
You think that he'll draw enough to cover at least $350 tab?
Yes.
Okay. Brooks Logan.
Yep.
Wicked Nemesis.
Absolutely.
See, right now, I don't think he'll pull another 35 people into that building at $10 a head. I say no. But by the same token, I'm also a crazy sumbitch every once in a while, and I'm willing to take the chance. So I might say yes, but 89% chance, I'm going to say no.
Well, hold on, Eddie, real quick.
That's a still.
Hold on, real quick, Eddie, before we go to commercial, because we need to go to a break here in a minute.
5 minutes.
If you sit there and you make him, you don't want to have him outshine your talent on a poster or whatever.
Right.
But if you make sure that he's prominently displayed on the poster, his name is prominently displayed on the poster, his name is prominently displayed on your website through your social media outlets, then yes, he will bring in an extra 35 people. I guarantee you.
Okay.
I would eat a spoonful of mayonnaise on that guarantee, and I don't ever say that.
That's true, you don't. His level of disposal for mayonnaise rivals that of mine in being actually without sleep for 3 days. I
think Mabo is right.
Okay.
Sure. I think you can get 35 people in there. If I have to send them down to the local Walmart to sign autographs, then
would he do something like that though? We know Mike Jackson would at the drop of a hat.
He's gonna do what the hell I tell him, because I'm the booker.
Well, I mean, if he shows up in the city late and he can't make the autograph signing, how many times have we Wicked, you and I especially, and Mark and Brooks, the two of y'all have seen this happen. How many times has talent been booked and there's an autograph signing early in the afternoon, call time's 4:00, autographs 2:00, and they're not there for the autograph signing and they come wheeling in at 5:30 when they're supposed to be a 4:00 call. Aw, damn. Hey, wait, how many times have we seen that? You honestly think?
No, I know. But
look,
my point is, what Mabo says, if he's marketed correctly, if you got him, good product placement, not product placement, but placing him correctly on the poster, getting the word out there, internet, then yes, 35 people shouldn't be a problem for a name like Matt Hardy.
And
especially in a month, Eddie, you're giving me a month.
Yeah,
I'll give you a month.
I can make Buff Bagwell. I can pay Buff Bagwell $250, have him bring in $500 worth of people, and have him sit around and take Polaroids in the middle of the ring right after his match, even though he's got decimated, and he'll make an extra $1,500 off Polaroids alone.
Yeah,
I've seen it happen.
Yeah, Buff Bagwell.
On more than 10 occasions, I've seen that exact scenario happen with Buff Bagwell, and that's here. How often does the Southeast get to see Matt Hardy?
Okay, this is the difference, and I'm going to use your own phrases against you on this one because
I can make $350 off Brooks Logan. I swear to God.
Mabo, say the words. He won't do it now. Damn it! I will turn your own words against you. Buff Bagwell transformed into the cool heel that people like to boo and like to cheer. Matt Hardy was never the cool heel. Matt Hardy was a makeshift heel that didn't work in a lot of ways, did in a lot of ways, but didn't in just as many. Buff Bagwell still gets over, number one, because he's still dedicated, even after the accident that occurred, the wreck that occurred, he got back in the gym and rededicated himself to working out and keeping himself in condition. So he still looks damn good. Number two, he keeps the personality where even if he's working as a heel in this business, he's still the cool heel that people love to get up an autograph from.
That's because he doesn't know how to work. He works the same as a heel as a babyface.
No.
He's one of those guys that never learned. He needs to go back to being the mysterious stranger. Buff Bagwell is one of those guys that never learned to work. He works the same as he does as a heel, and then as he does as a babyface. Closed fist, he does whatever he's going to do. He's going to hit you with the Buff Blockbuster. It doesn't matter. You can have Matt Hardy as a face. And we all remember when Matt Hardy did his little thing with Edge, when we all felt actual sympathy for him. During that time, during that glimmer, he showed glimpses because he was zeroed in on Edge, on Adam Copeland as a person, as an individual, plain and simple.
Tell you what, we're gonna.
Eddie, I can make money off of you, sir, in a month. I mean, that's crazy talk, sir.
We're gonna keep this discussion a little bit later on in the show, and also one thing I wanted to set the tease up is how TNA actually got it right this week, and we'll talk about that at 30 minutes after the hour. Folks, we're gonna go away a minute early for the top of the hour break, and when we come back from NWA Liberty States Wrestling, Ricky O joins us right here on Beyond Ringside. Stay tuned. And coming up right now, one of our new favorite features here on Beyond Ringside. Here's Mark Grayson with the Georgia Wrestling Report.
Welcome to the Georgia Wrestling Report. I'm Mark Grayson from GeorgiaWrestlingFans.com and the 5MinuteMark.com. Each week I'll bring you 5 minutes of news and views from the independent wrestling scene in the great state of Georgia, along with a healthy dose of shameless self-promotion. This week, there's only one thing going on as far as I'm concerned in independent wrestling in Georgia, and that is our big show. This coming Saturday, February 16th, A Nightmare to Remember 3. This is our 3rd annual tribute to the life of Ted Allen. The Nightmare Ted Allen has been in the ring with some of the best, is considered one of the best, and has trained some of the best wrestlers that are in the state of Georgia and have been into the big time, folks. Bull Buchanan, Ole Anderson, and more. Kyle Matthews, all Ted Allen trainees. So this year they're going to be honoring Brad Armstrong and Big Bill Dromo with Lifetime Achievement Awards. Bullet Barb Armstrong will be on hand to receive his son Brad's award, and the Dromo family will be there in mass to accept the award. Ron Simmons has taken time out of his busy schedule to be one of the presenters of the awards. Don't miss this, folks. Check out lnpromotions.com. They're going to have a parade of legends like no other show in Georgia, with George South, Cowboy Bob Kelly, Scotty Riggs, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. Steve Lawler will be retiring from wrestling at that show. Grizzly Boone, John Michaels, Greg Brown, Bobby Simmons, Randy Corin, Fred Avery, James Bryant, Jimmy Powell, Burger Powell, the oldest living NWA referee, Charlie Smith, will be on hand, along with Nasty Critter 1, Ron West, Randy Rhodes, Ranger Ross, Mr. Olympia, Jerry Stubbs, Hillbilly Festus, Mike Golden, Tom Renesto Jr., Randall Brown, and taking time out from her battle with leukemia, professional wrestling member, Hall of Fame member Joyce Grable will be joining us to show her respect for the Nightmare Ted Allen. LNpromotions.com is the place to go online. Find out how you can get your tickets this week at a discount. You don't want to miss the wrestling either. 3 tag team elimination match. Billy Jack and Billy Knight with that nasty little peanut taking on Billy Black and Buddy Burke, who will also be taking on Bobby Hayes, the Butcher, and Todd Zane with Jackie Rosedale in their corner. Got a 6-person mixed tag match. Bo and Misty James along with George South versus Wrestling's Wonder Woman Sabrina, Murder One, and one more competitor with their manager Jason Valentine. Bad Company's official retirement match. Steve Lawler and Grizzly Boone, managed by John Michaels, officially retiring, versus the PYT's James Bryan and Fred Avery, managed by Playboy Phil Hefner. crazy enough, it's going to have a special referee, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. It's also going to have a great 8-man cruiserweight elimination match. Brandon Jason Collins, Cody Jack, Stupid with Tweety, both Thunder and Lightning will be in effect. Frankie Valentine and Josh Storm. Gonna have a 6-man tag match. So Fine Mafia, Brad Lynch and Epic Grant Mitchell along with Lamar Phillips will take on Do or Die Chip Day, Corey Hollis and Big Wood the Lumberjack. On a side note, this will be Big Wood's final stop on his retirement tour. So, the main event, leading independent wrestler Kyle Matthews is going to take on former NWA North American champion Sean Tempers. Join us, folks. For more information, check out lnpromotions.com or the5minutemark.com, or as always, check out georgiawrestlingfans.com for all your wrestling news and shows in the great state of Georgia. Take care.
Welcome to the original Rockin' Wrestling Radio Show. Welcome to Beyond Ringside, your source for wrestling, MMA, and boxing in the Southeast. To contact the Ringside Roundtable of Beyond Ringside, email them at beyondringside@gmail.com. And now, your host for Beyond Ringside, the man, no myth, all legend, Fast Eddie Lane.
And we are back live on a Sunday night. Welcome back in to your home for wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. This is Beyond Ringside. Fast Eddie Lane behind the control panel. Mike Mac Mother Goose. Thank you, Mike Macaroni, for the intro. Always a pleasure. Welcoming back in tag team partner Mark Mabo Bowman.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is there's a 50-50 chance that a malnourished monkey is going to pop up out of your toilet and shoot you in the face with a spear gun. So, YOLO.
Like to welcome back in tag team partner Brooks Logan.
Oh, yeah, still here.
Welcoming back in tag team partner the Wicked Nemesis.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. Tonight, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, AMC, Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, son! Hell yeah!
Daryl's Crossbow.
The season premiere.
Looks like them season premiere. No, fool, it's the season. Oh, my God. Stop talking. Shut up. Looks like
Hey, and
them
then tomorrow. Mabo.
Looks like, what?
Hollywood Babylon tomorrow morning.
I know. And then you know what happens Wednesday? I get my federal income tax return. So you know what? There's going to be a lot of unwed mothers with some ones in their G-strings.
That's horse nuts. You will never come to
Fotos a la lista.
Look, if Mabo goes to the nudie bar, I will actually go to a nudie bar. If he goes to the nudie bar, I will go just to watch him tip a girl.
Nah, that won't ever happen.
I know.
Naked women who smell of baked goods and glitter frighten me.
Well, tell you what then, Wick, Brooks, looks like it's going to be up to us to go in his behalf. Mark, just give us the money and we'll go for you.
Yeah, I'm not trust. You're a crackhead. I'm not trusting you, Eddie. Speaking of crackhead,
I know the ones 2-tip and not 2-tip. There you go. End of discussion. There's some you just don't piss off the DJ. However, meanwhile, back at the ranch, because I know all the DJs in town and they'll tell me who to stay away from. End of story. Beginning of new story. Made the reference before the top of the hour. And once again, we are scheduled to be joined by Ricky O from NWA Liberty States Wrestling. We're trying to get in touch with him, and we've left the number, and we'll hopefully hear back from him in just a second. As soon as like I say, when the phone rings and the number comes in, we're going to go straight on in. I made the reference to how TNA got it right this week. I watched this week's episode of Impact Wrestling. Brooks, I know that you've got the best and worst of Impact as seen through the eyes of Brooks Logan coming up. But see, in my book, match of the week, plain and simple. TNA World Tag Team title match. And you couldn't go wrong in this match because you had 4 excellent talents. Chavo Guerrero, Hernandez, the greatest man that ever lived, Austin Aries, and the It Factor, Bobby Roode. You had Roode and Aries teaming up to challenge for the tag titles. And lo and behold, you knew the match was going to blow it off the map. They did everything right in that match. The chemistry, the timing, everything was great. The tag title changing hands the way that it did, I thought was beautifully done. I had no argument, no complaint. The only real complaint that I had about the entire episode of Impact was the Knockouts match. Because, now, Tara and Tessmacher is a good match. We've seen it before. We know they can go. But this gimmick about her being so emotionally attached to Jessie to where it distracts her from the match just cheapens her character. 6 months ago, Tara was a badass. Now, she's like a needy 13-year-old. Brooks, your thoughts?
Yeah, she plays a better role as badass than she does this role they got her in now. I don't like the Jessie dude, period, at all. But the Aries Rude comment you made is actually in my best of part, so I got them. Them two teamed up, I think, is a great combination. If they're going to go that route, keep them as a tag team. Of course, they're a champ, so they'll be that for a little bit longer. But I think both of them are great as singles, and tagged up, they might be even better. They've got good chemistry together.
I mean, think about it right now. I think as it goes, Austin Aries becomes, I think, the 5th person to be a Triple Crown winner in Impact Wrestling in only the short time that he's been there. He came in, I
thought Bobby Roode got it.
Bobby was never X Division champion.
Okay.
Aries,
I heard that wrong then.
Aries came in, picked up the X Division title, then went straight to the World title, and now he's a World Tag Team champion. Roode's been...
Yeah, but hold on. Was Bobby ever television champion?
No. Not that I know of. And I don't think he was...
I thought I heard him say something about it, and I thought they said Bobby Roode could have a chance.
No,
to
Bobby
be a
Roode.
Triple Crown winner.
No, Bobby Roode's never had the X Division title.
Right, and I don't think he's been television champion. So it's Aries who actually was one up on Roode in that particular regard, and Roode's a TNA original. And I'm also, matter of fact, hold on, let me, on a totally unrelated issue. Mark, now? Do I hit the music now?
Hey, dumbass, it doesn't work if we announce it.
Okay.
This is just in from the TNA President Dixie Carter. You see, Dixie Carter appeared on the Bellator MMA on the Spike TV and revealed that the young Hardy has signed a new long-term deal with the TNA. He signed the deal for 2 years, case of Coca-Cola, and some Jello pudding. And all of his 8x10s will be taken with the Kodak film. Blah. Back to you in the studio. Well, that range. Blah.
Y'all scare the hell out of me sometimes. Now, picking back up. Yes, that was a TNA newsflash. Thank you, Kill Bosby. I just spoonerize everything. Gotta love it. Dude, I love that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you never know. Breaking snooze could happen at any particular moment. Especially on this show. Coming back over to Impact Wrestling now, once the main event that they had with Bully and Sting against Devon at the tables match and the DOC. First off, they did a good job on that one also. Everything for the most part went very smooth on Impact this week, and I thought that they bounced just completely out of nowhere to come back and keep everybody's attention. And I'm wondering if it may just be the simple fact that they were working longer matches and counting on less behind-the-scenes drama. I mean, granted, the four taking the bow, however, but by the same token, I've been flabbergasted at this week's episode. It was fun to watch. I mean, even the little bit of forced drama that was there, and I love the factor of Rockstar Spud winning the British boot camp. Any one of those four could have, the two guys or any two of the ladies, the Blossom twins, could have done really well in an Impact situation. But then for Borash to bring out Rockstar Spud And then you have Robbie E and Robbie T doing the interrupt gimmick. I'm going, okay, this could almost be passable because Eccles has been doing a great job in this role. I have no qualm with that. And then for Eccles to get bounced and Spud play off the British side of Robbie T and start doing the fist pump and then the Rockstar fist pump and the crowd getting into it, it worked. There were very few things about it this week that did not work. Brooks, let me go ahead and pick you back up on the best and worst.
Okay. You want me to start with best of or worst of? I'll start with best of.
Start with best of.
Okay. All right. Best of, I like the fact that they were out of the impact zone.
Yay!
I think it gets totally stale when they stay in the impact zone. I think, and it looked like that arena was pretty full, so it's not like they can't draw. They need to take some of these television tapings out of the impact zone. Also, I like the Bischoff Briscoe being revealed as aces and eights. We all knew they were in it, but
yeah,
finally coming out, being revealed, I thought was good. And last I had Aries and Rude becoming the tag champions like we've already talked about. And that's all I got. That's my three for best of. I don't know if you want to comment on any of those or if you want me to go right to worst of.
Let's go to worst of.
All right. Number one, aces and eight and another squash match. Okay. These guys are supposed to be that rogue stable that everybody's afraid of, and they get squashed every time they're in a match. They're squashed in the tag team match, main event. And also have a problem with James Storms feuding with people like Jesse. He's one of the top performers in that company. Why is he feuding with mid-carders? I don't get that. And finally, the Bully Ray Hulk Up was totally embarrassing. It was sickening, gross, and embarrassing. Never want to see it again. And that's best of, worst of. I can't believe I even got best of filled out, but there you have it.
This week, best of would have been good. I mean, okay. Tell you what, I'll go around the horn on this one. Go ahead and take it from the first one. The Aces and Eights constantly losing on television and or pay-per-views, but yet they're still keeping them up as this badass faction. Mabo, your thoughts?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I don't think they're supposed to be this, like, these monsters, although they do have 2 or 3 big monsters in the group.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to be, the disruptive, play in the whole TNA book, so to speak. So why are you having them constantly lose? I mean, yes, they're losing to, the main event names, which is kind of understandable, but at least have them go out there and destroy some, mid-carders or some low-carders. Bring back Shark Boy, for God's sakes, and let them go through a table or something. I mean, other than just have them disrupt weddings or attack in parking lots, give them some credible wins in matches so people will be like, oh, okay. Don't just give it to Devon. I mean, if you're going to push Doc and Mike Knox, or, even now that they've added Briscoe and Bischoff, and I'll be really mad, though, if Briscoe and Bischoff get the majority of the win, so to speak, over 2 big monsters like Knox and Luke Gallows. It's just, if you're going to make them, if you want the fans to see them as a credible threat, then treat them like a credible threat.
Well, in my book, they are still a reasonably credible threat because if you're talking about going to the wedding episode, they did a bang-up job of beating up Brooke's wedding dress. I mean, it didn't stand a chance. I mean, the world got a great view of the Mattel toy factory that's built in there. That's all I can say, dude. They won that round. The dress didn't stand a chance. Wicked, your thoughts?
Well,
go ahead.
No, they do a great job of disrupting. My point is, like Mabel just hit it on the head. They're supposed to be seen as a force. They never win matches. Well, the reason NWO worked so well is because the good guys, the baby faces, could never make them pay for what they did. Hardly ever. It took them forever to get a win over them.
Because they had Eric Bischoff in a position of control.
It was like cheating or whatever. they got the win most of the time the NWO did. So that's what worked for them.
Well, the reason why the NWO worked so well is because you had executive producer Eric Bischoff changing stipulations at the drop of a hat, changing matches at the drop of the hat, restarting matches at the drop of the hat, sending people to the back at the drop of the hat, and that part got old. So in order to stay away from that NWO theory where it's like been there, done that, seen all this crap, I can see where they would have them lose on certain occasions, but this often, I don't know. Wicked Nemesis, your thoughts?
There is only one reason for a heel quote-unquote faction, and one reason alone. That is to put over a group of baby faces.
Yep.
If you're putting over a group of baby faces, you're building baby faces. But you have to keep a heel group, faction, whatever, strong.
Right.
The problem with the NWO was there was no ending. Everybody puts a heel faction together, everybody puts these big heel groups together, but yet they don't know how to end them. And herein lies the problem. You have aces and eights losing to almost everybody. You're not building any momentum. You're not building any heat for them, and that's the whole point, is to build heat to build more baby faces. If they're continuously losing, then they're just a group together for no reason.
Right.
It's like if you have a heel champion, whether it be heel tag team champions or heel heavyweight champion or a heel women's champion or a heel undercard, well, let's not say undercard, but a TV or a intercontinental champion, something of that nature, you have to keep them strong so they can keep the baby faces getting sympathy, because that's what their whole job is to do. Promoters forget about this. This is what happens when you have people writing storylines instead of letting storylines build out. It used to be storylines, took place over 6 or 7 months. Now everybody wants to have a storyline in 3 months. That's your problem right there. This was rushed. They had people being revealed. They had things going on backstage, and you have this is a stillborn. This is an abortion of an angle that they're trying to force upon somebody. It's like, here, take your dead baby, take your stillborn baby. And we're trying to leave it at the Catholic cathedral's doorstep.
Yeah, because think about this. You had in the main event, in the tables match, Devon and Doc against Bully and Sting. Now, the logical choice, because Devon is the television champion, if you're going to go ahead and let one of the heels take the fall, it would have to be Gallows. It would have to be Doc. Because using the formula that Wicked Nemesis has put out there for a belt holder, mid-card at best at this point with the TV title, but still a belt holder for the television champion to take the fall and go through the table at the hands of Bully Ray, that's almost like a closure again on the Bully Devon feud. And once again, the faces get one up, but they're getting one up on the heel faction's belt holder. And the man who's doing all the talking for the faction. I think this is where aces and eights could use a mouthpiece, where they could legitimately use a strong manager. Not one that's going to, when Eric Bischoff is finally revealed as the mouthpiece for the aces and eights, which I'm willing to bank that it is, anybody won't take that bet? Didn't think so. By the same token, when he's finally revealed, everybody's going to sit back and go, oh God, here we go again. They really are. In this case, I'd rather have Father James Mitchell come back. I'd rather have Reverend Dan Wilson come out. I'd rather have Jeff G. Bailey come out. I damn sure want to have the Wicked Nemesis show up. Save the best for last.
Absolutely not.
Huh?
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't take it?
Absolutely not.
Not if they paid you?
Nope, I would not take it. I'm going to tell you why. Because they're so mismanaged that they would automatically do something stupid. And neither would Jeff Bailey, neither would Reverend Dan Wilson. That's called protecting your character, protecting your gimmick. And that's what these guys are not doing. There's absolutely no way that you can have your DOC, whatever the hell you want to call him, your strong muscle, lose. You can't have that. You cannot have that happening. That makes Luke Gallows look like a
panty waist?
A weakling, a wimp, a wasp, as they used to call them in the military.
Okay. Understandable concept. But looking at it like that, I mean, if you're it's like on the other team. Bully would have been the choice to take the fall through the table, not Sting. Although Sting would have done it at the drop of the hat to propagate the storyline properly. They get the win over the guy.
Absolutely not. No, he would not have. Sting would not have taken that fall. Bully Ray should have taken that fall. There's absolutely no reason that Steve Borden would have done that. Neither would have Sting. Absolutely not.
I did say that Bully would have been the first choice to take it.
Build it up like Sting's like good for the business or something. Sting's bad for business.
But he's still
Sting would have done what was good for the business. Absolutely not. If he did what was good for business, he would have retired and not taken that that Spike TV contract that he did.
I don't fault him for taking it because there are a number of times and more than one, and I'm sure everybody on this panel can disagree or agree if you'd like, and I'll go around the horn. In some cases, Sting in the ring can still go, and he's still got the presence on the microphone to keep the crowd involved and energized. Mabo, agree or disagree?
No, he does, but I mean,
he's damn sure not Ric Flair.
Huh?
He's damn sure not in the condition Ric Flair's in.
Well, no, but I mean, still, Sting should not have, if the Sting wouldn't, if the faces were going to lose, Sting's name shouldn't even come up for the table spot. Plain and simple.
Okay.
I mean, there's only one person who should have gone through, and it would have been Bully. That's just my opinion. And by the way, you're wrong. It's not Bischoff. It's the Ace is an H guy. Just saying.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can be wrong all day long. I've been wrong before. It just looks like that's where it's going to lead, and that's the part that's really going to bug me. Brooks Logan, your thoughts?
Sting can still work. You know my feelings on Sting, but I don't like him. Never have liked him. But he can work, and he's decent on the mic. But his character's tired. It's played out, in my opinion. It's just a tired gimmick. I'm not going to say he's bad for TNA because they don't really have. I mean, you got Hogan out there as a mouthpiece. He can't work, period. He can't even throw a punch. But Sting is still in decent shape. He's still a good worker. So he's not all bad for TNA, but I think his character's very tired.
I think the Crow, Joker, whatever gimmick, at least he's not still doing the insane icon. And this is where y'all can take umbrage with something that I said in a previous segment as it regards to somebody else that we've already mentioned his name way too effing many times, and I'm not going to do it again. In this particular case, as using my arguments from a second ago, Sting can still get the crowd motivated, keep the crowd energized, and here's the fun one, sell a ton of merchandise. And he can still go in the ring. There is an age difference between Sting and the person I mentioned in segment number 1. But in this particular regard, to use everybody's favorite phrase, Sting in this era right now is working smarter, not harder. So I think that he is still an asset to Impact Wrestling. Is he trying to do every match every week? Hell no. Is he cutting color at the drop of a hat? Hell no. Is he doing the smart way and doing what it takes to continue to stay over in the ring and over with the fans? Hell yes. So, like Wicked would always say, work smarter, not harder. But continuing on, we're going 4 minutes before the bottom of the hour break. Anything can happen around this place. Like I said, originally scheduled to be joined by Ricky O from NWA Liberty States Wrestling. The line is still very much open at the top of the hour. We have got another interview slated for 7 o'clock Central. We're going to work on that concept and keep everything going here on BR. I really kind of want to tap into something that happened on Raw, or to propagate a couple of storylines that they've got going on. But before I do, matter of fact, let's take it out a couple minutes early. I want to remind everybody, and if you don't know, now you will know. Next Sunday, February the 17th, the cast of Beyond Ringside will be broadcasting live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Trussville, Alabama. Buffalo Wild Wings in Trussville is going to be showing the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Come early, come hungry, no discussion. We'll be
if you're with the Wicked Nemesis, you come often.
There you go. Giggity. God, I knew you were going to say that. Still can't get over that word. But seriously, we'll be starting at 5 p.m. Central, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. We'll be going from 5 o'clock until 7 o'clock our time. until just before the pay-per-view starts. We're lining everything up, putting everything in place. Keep your eyes open on beyondringside.com if you're in the Birmingham and the central Alabama area. Like I said, Trussville got a lot of great cities and townships around there. Everything from Clay, Chalkville, Pinson, Locust Fork, Leeds, Moody, close to the Highway 280 corridor, Cahaba Heights, Mountain Brook, and Metro Birmingham itself. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of our friends and making some new friends next Sunday, February the 17th, as we broadcast live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Trussville. Also, Wick, we may have a problem on the 24th because we were trying to figure out a way to broadcast live from Millersville, Tennessee, and the Showtime All-Star benefit card, fighting for Aurora on the 24th. And we're trying to see if things can be lined up to where we can gain access. I may have a backup plan in place, but right now it's looking kind of iffy. Also, there is a chance that we'll be next Saturday night over in Villa Rica, Georgia at Bay Springs Middle School for A Nightmare to Remember 3. There's a chance we're going to be making that road trip over there. We've had a great conversation with Terry the Rocker Lawler. Looking forward to that situation. And if we're able to get everything put together and everything works, believe me, we're definitely hoping to find a way to get it all together, to possibly do some interviews and maybe a live shot. You never know. Folks, hang tight. We're going to the bottom of the hour break, and we'll be back on Beyond Ringside right after this. Hang tight. Welcome back in Beyond Ringside Sunday night, 24 before the top of the hour. Glad to have you on board on this Sunday thing. Fast Eddie Lane, Mark Mabo Bowman, Wicked Nemesis, Brooks Logan, all present and accounted for, or at least somewhat figuratively speaking, of course. You never know around this place. You know, we're picking out some of the best and worst moments from the national televised programs, and also finding out about some situations going on. I want to let everybody know there are some things that should not happen, and if they are, the producer should be smart enough to find a way to get around it.
The stuff that should not be.
The stuff that should not.
Now for stuff we should not see. Here's some stuff that should not be.
Overinflated, self-important, one-dimensional leprechaun wannabes with shaved heads don't necessarily need to find a way to photobomb a moment when somebody's trying to cut a promo.
How dare you say anything like that about Damon Christopher? That was outrageous.
I didn't say shaved. He doesn't have a shaved head.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Some people should.
Well, if you're referring to me on Raw, yeah. I have a problem with being at shows that I'm not booked on. I don't know. I can't do that. Well, yes, my kids do stuff for a little bit. You know, I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't.
But Wicked, you first of all, you don't feel that your ego forces you to be on TV all the time, even though you own the company and you book for the company, and whatever we're not naming names. I'm just saying, you don't sit there and yeah. What were we talking about?
CM Punk's promo on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, I actually liked it. That was pretty good.
I actually thought it was better than the one he did last week. Wick, you did? Did you?
I liked his one last week.
I didn't like his one last week. It just seemed overly forced.
Well, you know what? Then I'm just gonna ignore everything you say for the next 10 to 15 minutes and read Green Lantern Corps Annual #1, the conclusion to the Rise of the Third Army.
Punk should have been upset as he was 2 weeks ago with what happened. He lost the title to The Rock, and now the title is gone from constantly being on Raw, as it should be. But I actually did get to see Punk's promo, which was pretty good. It was pretty good, and everybody knows I'm the architect of intellect, so I know a little thing about promos. But at least he wasn't whining. That's one thing that everybody seems to forget. Punk's quote-unquote pipe bombs, he's whining.
Yep.
He's whining the entire time. He's complaining. I can't say that, but if you listen to the To Be Determined show this Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will tell you the word that I would like to use because I can't use it here. This is a
PG rated show.
PG rated show, a family show. The To Be Determined show is not. And guess what, guys? We have Chance Profit on this Wednesday. So.
Okay. Brooks, your thought about
Mince trading's pretty close to.
Yeah, there you go. In desperate need of Midol and chocolate. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, let's go ahead and run with it. Brooks Logan, come on in. Your thoughts, Punk Monday night.
Didn't get to see it, man. I had to work late. I missed it. I told you. I heard who Mabel was talking about was on the show, and I refused to watch anything he's on, so I didn't watch Raw. Just kidding. I had to work, so I missed it.
In other words, real life intervened, film at 11. No, I'm okay with friends who are in the business, who drink, who, other wrestlers who are, and by the way, y'all know who that was sitting beside them, right? That was actually the BFFs. And
you told me about that when we talked, Monday night or whatever?
Yeah, sitting next to the two from here in Alabama were actually the BFFs, and the girl on the other side was lovely Lacey Lawley, who works in Georgia and has worked with a company here in Alabama, a couple of companies here in Alabama before. So it was great to see the BFFs and Lacey on television. It was cool as hell to see them.
The BFFs were actually, I read one of the reports, the BFFs were like, asked to be there and sit in those seats and do that spot or whatever. I'm sure the other two were like, no.
I just have a problem with, even if they weren't out front row seats, I couldn't do it. To me, that's cool. But I have a problem with just being at a show. I mean, I have a problem paying to see wrestling, okay? Because I sit there and I cannot watch the shows as a fan anymore. I mean, I critique every single thing that they do, and it's just because, you see this stuff, it's the same stuff that we get on to guys, backstage at, the young guys. I mean, you see the guys on TV doing it, and then they see the guys on TV doing it, and then everything you tell this kid that he's doing wrong, he just saw CM Punk do it, or he just saw some of these crappy NXT guys that are coming out that are barely trained, coming out and doing this. I mean, the Bo Dallas guy is absolutely atrocious. I see Maven all over again. Who's Bo Dallas's dad? Tell me that. Whose kid is he?
Mike Rotundo.
Yep.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew he was somebody's kid. I didn't know who, and
well, I mean,
why is not on TV?
Yeah, that's what I said. You know who his brother is.
Bray.
I don't know. Because I guess they wanted the. You know what? It's discrimination, because Bo is thin and somewhat in shape and has hair like a diva.
And
he
black?
Gets to be on TV, huh?
He seems black. He looks like he's Hispanic or ethnic of some kind.
Well,
he looks like a Native American. He looks like an Indian.
Yes.
Well, his daddy's a Rotundo and his mama was a Wyndham, so there you go.
Oh,
but I'm telling you, it's discrimination because his brother, even though his brother is out of shape, his brother can cut a better promo. His brother can wrestle, and that's what it is. It's all because his brother is slightly overweight.
There's
absolutely no reason. You guys know this. Claudio Castagnoli is one guy I like to watch. He is one guy that if he's on TV, I will stop and watch him. Damian Sandow, I will stop and watch him on TV. Bray Wyatt is TV ready. He was TV ready when he was doing, what was his old gimmick?
Husky
when he was Husky Harris. He was a big guy that can go. And you guys know I'm one of those guys. I always tell the guys that are larger guys to work as a strong guy. I mean, you have the guys out there, running the ropes and doing this and doing that, doing the fast stuff. Even though you can, you shouldn't have to. You look at Jacoby Boykins out of Georgia.
Yep.
This man right here at one time wanted to try to do that. He was running the ropes. He was trying to do, like semi-cartwheels off the second rope. He wanted to do all this stuff, and I told him, why are you doing that? Well, I said, dude, we have all of Jimmy Rave approved. We have Skira, who I was managing at the time, that was 6'5", 200 pounds, that could do all that, and he was, for him it was a freak of nature because you have this tall skinny guy that could fly and do all that, and he could, he was double jointed, so he made it look. They had all the fast guys. They didn't have many strong guys. Now Jacoby Boykins has all this, and it's that point. Husky Harris is one of those guys you don't see somebody his size on TV anymore. Look what they've done to Tensai. Look what they've relegated him to. Okay, you're talking about a man that is a legend in Japan, an American legend, not Stan Hansen or Terry Funk type, not Vader, but right there on par with some of the best Americans to go there and make a name for themselves. Husky Harris can go. And when you let him do the Bray Wyatt, as you will, the take on Waylon Mercy, the 2000. I mean, it is great. It is ready for TV. It's something that's different. He is a big guy that they should just let go. Let him go out there. He has charisma. He has all the intangibles, with the exception he doesn't have a six-pack. Oh, well. I've had people tell me, why do you scream? You should go out there. People would rather just be talked down to rather than go out there and just you scream at them. And I tell everybody this. And I heard it in a shoot interview when I first got into the business. A gentleman out of Dallas was the one that said it. You know, when everybody goes out, when everybody's yelling, you whisper. When everybody's whispering, you yell. That's why I raise my voice. That's why Bray Wyatt goes out and has these Technicolor Dreamcoat promos that he does. I mean, he's one of the most entertaining guys on Twitter. But the problem is he's wasting promos on Twitter because the can't get on TV. That's horrible. That's detrimental to WWE. That's damn near treason. If they were a country, Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, these guys, they would be held for treason for what they're doing to the WWE, allowing somebody and some of these guys to go out there, but yet having the talent they do squander.
Well, I can't believe you named off all those the legends in Japan, and you didn't mention One Man Crew. He's going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, he will.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And speaking of, I had a great Tuesday night conversation series kickoff with One Man Crew, and that interview is now available on BeyondRingside.com as well as our Podomatic site.
What is the under of him doing that interview in sweatpants, dressed as like Jason, and how many times did he actually cut?
I don't know how he was dressed, and he didn't say the first profane word.
And I guarantee, I love the fact he went over to Japan and did shows when there were like 30 or 40 people. That's great.
Now, let me go ahead and say this. I'm taking the setup and segue, by the way. Speaking of, we kicked off a brand new series here on Beyond Ringside this week, and we actually started it a couple of weeks ago and developed the idea and started in full motion this week. This exactly. Credit to Mabo. The Tuesday night conversations, and we started out with a great double shot. We had a return of the good Reverend Dan Wilson, and had a great opportunity to speak with him, get caught back up, finding out what the Reverend's been doing, including his current podcasts, which are found on PODDY Humor, poddyhumor.com, including we went into depth about his affinity for comic books and some of the people with whom he has had interviews. And Mabo, you're a fan of one of the people that he recently spoke with, right?
Yes.
I figured.
Isn't the name of his radio show the Midnight Mass?
Well, that's his music oriented one. That's the Midnight Black Mass, but he also has the one that's more devoted toward comic books, and it's called Get Your Pulls.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Tremendous time interviewing Reverend Dan this week, and great conversation that we all had with him. And that is available through our podcast site. And if you are subscribed to Beyond Ringside over on iTunes, you get a chance to catch that. Also, the second part of the double shot this past Tuesday night, I had a one-on-one interview, Tuesday night conversation with the One Man Crew, originally based out of the Ohio market, came down to Birmingham, the Alabama area, has been working in and around the southeastern U.S., and also has made a couple of trips over to Japan. So when you get the opportunity, check it out. The easy way to go there is, of course, subscribe to Beyond Ringside on iTunes. If you're on our Facebook friend page or fan page, or have any of us on your friends list over on Facebook, you can find it. The links are also over on Twitter. And the podcast itself, the address for the podcast is beyondringside.podomatic.com. Very easy to find, very easy to get to. A lot of our current episodes and interviews are up there. Now let me go and say this for those who've been going back and trying to track down some of the older interviews. Go to beyondringside.com and click on the media link at the top of the page, and you will have a chance to catch some of our older interviews as well as some of our older episodes. So if you think we're crazy now, trust me, we were just as crazy when we kicked this son of a gun back off a few years ago.
Don't forget the YouTube page also, the Beyond Ringside YouTube page and my YouTube page. My YouTube page has some of the old interviews that we have, some of the ones that generated a lot of buzz, with the exception of the Jeff DeMoline, which I do not have a. And you know, one of the interviews I always point to, one of our past interviews, and you guys always, we're actually part of history in one of our interviews. we were part of history when Liz Savage broadcast live from the Occupy
LA.
Los Angeles. I mean, that was great. I mean, this was unfolding as it happened.
Yeah.
I put this on par whenever Matt Denton and I broadcast a little thing that we did called Just Shoot, that we did that segued into one of our episodes of Shoot Finish, where the London riots were going on right in his backyard, and you could hear the explosions, you could hear people screaming, you could hear the chanting. I mean, it was right there. And for those, that is the one interview I always point to. I tell everybody, like, you know, we've had some fun times, we really have, and we have had people on that were just absolute bores, where I have felt like clawing my eyeballs out and sticking my vasectomy scroll nutsack in my own ear. My ears makes it like I have one ear. Ears to listen to some of these people, but we have had some great eclectic interviews, if you will. But the YouTube page, my YouTube page, and the Beyond Ringside YouTube page is up. The Podomatic, also archives.
Yes.
We keep forgetting that. I've seen some of the people, because you can go and see how many times it's been downloaded through that. Archive.org has some of the very, very, very old. I'm talking about when we used to do the Saturday morning shows, and when we used to do the Wednesday night shows, the Midweek Meltdown, courtesy of Brooke Logan. Some of those are up. So, I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, you type in Beyond Ringside, you Google it, Bing it, Yahoo, search it, Pornhub it, we're up there.
Actually, I tell you the truth, a lot of the stuff on archive.org is linked into the media page at beyondringside.com. So it's, I've tried to put everything in one central location. And since Beyond Ringside, the To Be Determined show, and Global Championship Wrestling's GCW Radio all broadcast through the Beyond Ringside Radio Network, I've incorporated links for all of the current and past episodes through beyondringside.com in the media page. So I try to put everything all in one place where everybody can find it.
And remember, Wednesday night, we got Chance Prophet coming on for the To Be Determined show.
Yep.
I've got to be out here at 7 o'clock really quick, Eddie, if you don't mind. We were supposed to be joined by Brian Casanova this past Wednesday. He was unable to come on for whatever reason. Obviously, I don't want the guy back on because he no-showed us. No call, no show, mother. But,
there you go.
Tasha is wanting him back on, obviously, because it's her tag team partner at the benefit show is the only reason why I'm allowing this to go on. But we will be joined at 9:05, I guess, by him. And 9:30, we have Chance Prophet coming on. Of course, we have the Smarks Rage and Tasha Knows Best, those segments. I want to apologize really quick for those that come on Wednesday night. I had to leave early in the middle of like 10:25. I had gotten really, really sick. I had been sick earlier in the day. And then 2 shots of Absolute, I felt everything coming back up. I like to take the Ralph Garman approach to the To Be Determined show, and possibly the Kevin Smith, by making sure that all my glaucoma is taken care of, as well as my liver is shot to hell and back.
There you go.
During the shows. And it was just, wow. But thank you, Eddie, for taking over and just running with it. It was very appreciated. I actually have that uploaded. You have it uploaded to Podomatic.
Right.
You have it uploaded to Beyond Ringside, and you have it uploaded to I don't know if it's on the Ustream.
It's on the Ustream. I got to move it to YouTube.
And I have it up to the YouTube page, and hopefully it'll be up on the To Be Determined show, which has its own YouTube very soon. And thank you all that listen. Mabo, anytime you want to come on, please feel free. Brooks Logan, feel free to come on at any time, sir. And, you know, as I've always said, we kind of do a totally different take on wrestling. It's very educational. We do realize our demographic and most of our listeners are in the business. It's really an educational class, and we do kind of break kayfabe. We scold the crap out of a lot of people, and it is X-rated, just to let everybody know, because Tasha sometimes does the show naked. She has admitted that, and sometimes I like to play with my pee-pee. Girls go pee-pee when they see me.
If I didn't think I'd break it, I would have already thudded my head on the microphone. Wicked, go ahead and run shameless plugs real quick. I know you're bailing at the top of the hour.
Yes, sir, and I do apologize for at Wicked Nemesis on Twitter, as Eddie said, iTunes, Podomatic, Beyond Ringside Radio Network, the To Be Determined shows everywhere. As we've said once again, this Wednesday night, you've got to be there. Chance Prophet's going to be there. Tasha Simone's going to be there. Fast Eddie Lane's going to be there. Smart Rage is going to be there. Maybe Matt Denton will be there. Maybe will be there. I will be there. Have your questions and comments ready for that. And ladies and gentlemen, go out and support local independent wrestling. You guys know the 23rd, the finals of the JYD tournament. And Wednesday night, I will tell my side of the story, what happened last week at the JYD tournament. A lot of people think us going out in the first round, you get Full Throttle, Scotty Blaze, Shane Fox, and whatever the hell the underground guys were called that night. Underground? What? Underground? Yes, Underground.
You mean Micah and Spiral?
No, from the week before. Yes.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that too. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Support local independent wrestling, and that's about it. Thank you guys for listening.
Folks, got a couple of things I want to hit. This coming Saturday night, February the 16th, in Sanford, Florida, at the Salvation Army Gym, Vintage Wrestling returns. The Vintage Heavyweight Championship will be on the line as the new champion, Corey Chavis, defends against the former champion, the challenger now in the rematch, Francisco Ciazzo. Tag Team Championship on the line, Simon Says and Milo Beasley. Yes, take on Beast Mode, managed by Justin Michaels. And the challenge has been laid out by the British Lion, Tommy Taylor. Will Steel Horse Vachon accept the challenge to come back and face Tommy Taylor in the ring at Vintage Wrestling on Saturday the 16th. Also, next Saturday night for our good friends over the Peach State of Georgia, A Nightmare to Remember 3. A Ted Allen tribute show. This is going to have over 70 stars lined up. It's going to be at the Bay Springs Middle School Gym in Villa Rica, Georgia. It's going to have, I believe, a 6 o'clock for the door. Let's see, doors open at 6. Showtime is 7 o'clock Eastern time. Check out lnpromotions.com. And also for those on Facebook, just type in A Nightmare to Remember 3. 2 great events coming up in the very near future, and we're going to have more of those events covered right here on Beyond Ringside. Tell you what, let's take it to the top of the hour break. If my button works, we're going to be taking it out, and we'll be back in 5 right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. The umbrella's holding. I think we're making it well. I kept hoping for snow, but it never came. Although, it could still happen. Welcome back into Beyond Ringside Sunday night. Fast Eddie Lane, scattered as always behind the control panel here in the Full Range Entertainment Studios. Welcoming back in tag team partner Mark Mabo Bowman.
Still eating my sandwich. Leave me alone.
Like to welcome back in tag team partner Brooks Logan.
Yes, sir.
So you never know what's going to happen. Yes, Mabo's still having a late lunch. And ladies and gentlemen, we got a very special guest coming on with us at this time from Northern Outlaw Wrestling, Mr. Mark Holter. Mark, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Wonderfully well. It's been a peaceful day in paradise with the exception of a little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning, and a whole lot of wet crap that unfortunately we can't make into a snowman.
Oh, we got plenty of that here you guys can have for free.
We'll send up a pickup truck. It'll be there in a couple hours. It'll be a Ford F-350 with a really big extended bed on it. So, just pack a lot in there and we'll just overload it and bring it down here. We'll build a snowman before it melts. Of course, as it passes through Tennessee, anything can happen. All bets are off. First off, as we say, thank you for coming on board. Always great to hear about promotions. All across the country, we've had the honor of having promoters come on from different areas of the lower 48 and abroad. If I could please, I'd like to ask you to tell us a little bit about Northern Outlaw Wrestling.
Well, Northern Outlaw Wrestling is, like we like to say, it's family friendly orientated, and we say that because there's a few different philosophies I have on what we're doing, and it's not just myself, but my other 3 co-owners too. And what we try and do is, while kind of keeping the feel of the old, the old school type territory promotions, we also try and feature the newer style of pro wrestling, which I guess isn't so much newer anymore, but the guys that can do the high flying and the technical moves and we could try and give people a lot of different stuff.
Okay. Now, this is something I always like to ask because we've, like I said, different crowds, and I've had a chance to work and be around different crowds in different areas, primarily the southeastern U.S., the mid-Atlantic states, as well as a couple shows over in Texas and Louisiana. But how do your crowds respond to the different characters and to the different personalities that you have? Are they more drawn to the individual personalities and the in-ring talent, or are they drawn to the or are they storyline driven and really just like to sink their teeth into something they can have fun with? Well,
I feel it's kind of a combination of both. our fans really get behind the individual characters, and they have to be characters. They can't just be Joe Schmo that comes in and works his match and is done. I mean, it's got to be somebody that's character driven with some flair and some flash. There's got to be something there. And our fans that follow us, we have a really good local fan base. Definitely follow the storylines. On our website, NorthernOutlawWrestling.com, we have what we call Now TV, which is basically episodes where we fill in between our events to kind of lead into the next event with the storylines.
Mabo, Mark Bowman, come on in.
Well, now I see that you guys are based out of North Dakota. Where exactly do you run? Do you just stick primarily in North Dakota, or do you cover some more of the surrounding states?
We primarily run in North Dakota. For us, there's really no other promotions running, so we find that North Dakota has a lot of opportunities for us if we want to. So we homestead in Minot, basically. We run between 4 and 5 shows a year here, and depending on, if we get a, offshoot show here or there for, a county fair or something like that. And then we also have the opportunity to travel during the summertime, going around to the different county fairs around the state and putting on shows. So there's plenty to keep us busy here.
Brooks Logan, come on board.
What's the fan base like up there in North Dakota? Y'all have pretty good draws when y'all run, or how's that look?
Well, here in Minot, which is basically our home base, we run our big events, which is typically double shots of Friday and Saturday night. And we draw between, depending on the weather and things going on around town, we draw between 200 and 350 a night, which I'm happy with. Of course, we'd always like to see more, and we're always working on ways to draw more people in and catch their interest. When we travel around the state and we go to different county fairs and things like that, it just kind of depends on the size of the community. I remember a couple summers ago, we went to a small town named Tuttle, and it was for their centennial celebration for that particular summer. And when we drove into town, we had a touring bus that we used to take with our trailer. And when we pulled into town, and this is not an exaggeration, there were people lined up on the streets, and it was almost like a little mini parade. It was awesome.
Now, if you would, do me a favor, let everybody know about some of the notable personalities you've got running through NOW right now.
Well, sure. I guess I can go through our champions right now, our current champions. We've got, as our heavyweight champion, Mr. Incredible, who is actually a guy that started with us here locally it's got to be going on 3.5, 4 years ago. And just watch this guy. I mean, phenomenal athlete. And I don't think I've ever met a physically stronger guy, and I can go into that a little bit more later, but just an impressive guy and passionate about pro wrestling. The guy, if he's not lifting or working out, he's studying tape, and just tremendous. Our franchise champion is Betty Blades, who's been in the business, I believe, about 13 years. He got his start in South Dakota with a promotion down there and was trained, and then ended up working for Buck Zumhoff, kind of around the South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota area for years, and learned from Buck Zumhoff. And then when we got him, he had been in about 8-9 years at that point, and just a great asset to have. The guy can do just about anything in the ring, and tons of personality, and he's the type of guy that can, is, because if you're at a promotion for a while, you always run the risk of the fans being like, I'm kind of tired of seeing this guy. But Benny's the type of guy that constantly changes and evolves, and is always able to keep the fans' interest, which is important if you're somewhere for a while. And our tag team champions are Hot and Dangerous, which is Rob James and Ryan Cruz. And I don't know, you might be, excuse me, you might be familiar with Ryan Cruz. He used to team up with Darren Corbin as North Star Express.
I've heard
and him and Rob James together, it's a whole different dynamic. They're exciting to watch. The crowd, whether they're the fans are behind them or against them. The fans are very passionate when those guys are in the ring or working. So, to me, really solid champions that we have right now, and I don't see that changing for a while. And, some of our other cast of characters we have, we love bringing in people from the outside. Being in North Dakota, our local talent base is somewhat limited. So, even with our first show, all of our talent came from pretty much Minnesota and South Dakota. So we've got guys like Darren Corbin, who I already mentioned. Darren's a regular, and probably one of my best friends in wrestling and beyond, period. Just a great guy. Just, if I have a question or an idea that I need to cultivate a little bit, that's typically the first guy I call, because just tons of ideas. Horace the Psychopath is probably, I throw this word around a lot. As far as independent wrestling in Minnesota goes, the guy is a legend. He's been around well over, I don't want to date him too much, but easily over 20 years of experience, and he's been everywhere. I love hearing him tell stories about being down working for Jerry Jarrett in his younger days, and just everywhere. So we're lucky to have him. Sammy Savard's another one that's been around for a long time, another guy that was trained by Buck Zumhoff. Sammy's been around for a long time, really, really solid in-ring performer. And, of course, the guy that you guys had on last week, I believe, the Savage, who, again, is another one of our local guys, but just, another guy that is practically lives in the gym, studies tape, and works daily on getting better in the ring. And then we have guys that end up moving here, like Blake Broadway is another guy. Just tremendous in the ring. He was trained in, I want to say, down in Virginia, and he's in the military. He's in the Air Force. So he got stationed up here. I would say about 6 months before he came up here, he was already contacting us. Hey, I'm moving up there. I'd like to get involved. What do I need to do? And the guy's been tremendous since he's been up here. Eric Cannon's another guy from Minnesota that we've had up here off and on. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Eric.
Yep.
Just, another asset to have, a go-to guy when you've got questions and stuff, and always solid in the ring. And I can go on and on. We've just got tons of guys that we either bring in or we've brought in the past or that are here locally. We've got, I'd say, probably 6 or 7 local guys that are learning from the guys that we bring in from Minnesota, which is great. It's great watching them grow and get better. And the guys that come here from outside always have a great time when they come up here.
Now, if I could ask, I was going through the roster page a second ago, and I want to ask, being a promoter in that area, and you said that there's very few other promotions that really run, how do the fans up in North Dakota respond to women's wrestling?
Well, it's funny. It's kind of hit or miss. If there's just a ladies match where, you don't really have ladies, they're kind of, it's just like any other match where there's no build-up or no anticipation, and the fans really don't know who's involved. It takes the fans, they enjoy it, but it takes the fans a little while to really get involved. And we've had a couple ladies up here that have really taken the bull by the horns and, are great doing promos and getting the fans captivated, and the fans really enjoy watching them wrestle when they come up here. And that would be like Charlotte Bordeaux, we've had up here a few times. She's tremendous. Kiki Rose from Denver, she's come up here, and the fans love to watch her. But yeah, it's different. If they captivate the fans' attention, fans are into it. If they don't, the fans are kind of iffy.
Yeah, I can understand. It may take them a little while to warm up to the individual personalities if they don't have a chance to get to know them first. Mabo, come on back.
Now, I was scrolling through your roster page here, and a couple of names caught my eye, and it's basically a two-parter question. One, barking spiders. Really? Seriously? Did they know what that means? And did they smell as bad as they look? And two, this super freak chick, is she seeing anybody or anything? Because I could relocate to North Dakota.
And he would in a heartbeat, too.
Well, the barking spiders are tremendously popular up here. We bring them up, and we have fans that will travel, 2 to 3 hours to come to the shows to watch. We don't have them up here that often because, to me, and this kind of gets into some of my booking philosophy too, there's guys that you can bring up that are an attraction that you bring up once in a while, and the fans will come and watch them because they're excited to see them up here. And there's wrestlers that you have on your shows, every show, that are I don't want to say this without sounding terrible, but there's wrestlers that we have on all of our shows that are adaptable and can do things every show to kind of keep the storylines going. The Barking Spiders, one, are physically large guys. And as you know, on independent wrestling scene, the average size is not behemoth, I guess, to say it nicely. So it's not always easy to match guys like that up and, have the fans get into it. Like recently we had them up here in January, and they went up against Hot and Dangerous, our tag champs now, and that was tremendous. So, it's something we always look at, how often we can bring back guys. But the Barking Spiders are great to work with, and the fans love them. So, and as far as Super Freak goes, to my knowledge, I think she is seeing somebody, so I'm sorry. But keep checking back. You never know.
Keep the faith, man.
And a quick follow-up to the Barking Spiders question. Is it true that the Barking Spiders have bad breath? Because that's always a rumor I've heard, that barking spiders always have the bad breath.
Yeah. Just in dealing with them business-wise, I've never experienced that, no. But I've never really been in the ring with them, so I guess I can't say, whether or not that's accurate.
Brooks Logan, come on in.
I know you mentioned about having bring up wrestlers for attraction. Who are some of the guys you've had that may have been on WWE or TNA or any of the broadcast shows that we would probably or the common fan would know? Have you had any guys like that?
We've had a few guys up. We had the Honky Tonk Man up, I think. Let's see. Well, Lenny Lane was probably our first guy that we ever booked to come on the shows that has been on TV. He's relatively close. He lives in Minnesota, and just a tremendous guy to do business with, really professional, and a joy to have around. So we've had him up actually a few times, and it's always great. We had the Honky Tonk Man up a few years ago now. We did like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday where we were in Bismarck, which is our state capital, on Thursday evening doing the show. And we had our double shot here, and I enjoyed the Honky Tonk Man quite a bit myself. So, he was great to have up. The fans really loved him. And let's see, we've had Rhino up, and we had him up. We did a show at Four Bears Casino here in North Dakota, which to us was kind of a bigger event, so we wanted to get somebody that was, had been on TV recently and could still get in the ring and just, go 100%. And, we got a hold of Rhino. Another great guy to deal with, very professional, and he actually came up, I don't know if he wants me saying this or not, but anyway, he actually came up a couple days early to help us promote the event.
Nice.
And, yeah, just a great, great guy. And, literally, watching him and in the ring and stuff, I mean, the guy could be on TV tomorrow. He's just in great shape, and it's a pleasure to work with. let's see, we had Rudy Charles up a couple summers ago for about a 7-day, 9 to 7 day stretch, because we did kind of a summer tour where we hit a lot of county fairs kind of in a row. And we had him up here for a few days, and you may think it odd that we would have a referee up, but he brought a couple of guys from Tennessee with him to come and work our shows, Sean Schultz and a manager from down there that worked with Sean. And that was actually a lot of fun, and Rudy was a great guy to work with, and, you know, we still talk to this day. I, you know, call him for advice and stuff on different things. So, just, yeah, great guy.
If I may, a couple of things. Number one, next time you speak with Elegant Eddie Fine, let him know that I've got connections that can probably get him a good deal on some of those feather boas if he's looking. Number two, on a serious note, now I noticed in the managers that you work with, speaking of Eddie, in NOW, and this is one of the conversations that I have with different promoters around the country, and it's basically, do you find that the role of the manager in this day and time has either A, stayed about the same, B, evolved, C, devolved, or, you know, has it blown up a little bit more than it has in previous days with NOW?
Well, to me, and this is kind of something I believed when we started, was I think managers are very important for a few different reasons. One, obviously not everybody can get on the microphone and cut a captivating promo. So, you know, that's where you can take a manager and, you know, use a manager who's, and to me a big criteria of being a manager is you have to be good on the mic, because that's your job, is to help out those guys that aren't necessarily great on the mic. But two, you also as a manager have to know that you're not the spotlight guy. It's the worker, it's the wrestler. So, and I think a lot of problems guys run into these days, this is just my opinion, is that there's a lot of egos involved.
In
and
wrestling?
Guys want to be the big star.
In wrestling? I don't think I've ever seen egos in wrestling.
I know, right? So, you know, a manager has to know, I mean, just like everybody, you know, whether it's where your match is at on the card or what your role is, you know, on the show, everybody needs to know that and be aware of it. So, you know, if you have a manager that, you know, well, this guy wants to be the star of the show, but he's not supposed to be, then you can run into problems. But if you have a manager that recognizes that, you know, I'm here to enhance and enhance only, and take the back seat to the guy that I'm working with, you know, then everything tends to usually, hopefully, work out pretty well. But I don't think they use managers enough today on TV.
Thank you.
Just my personal opinion. I might be a little biased, but it's, you know, there's a place for them where, you know, historically you had guys that were phenomenal in the ring and phenomenal to look at, were captivating to people, but once you put a microphone in front of them, it was crickets. They didn't have anything to say,
right? Or
they said it poorly. Where, you know, if you put them with somebody that is good on the mic, you know, you could have a great combination.
You're listening to Beyond Ringside, Sunday night, 28 after the hour right now. Fast Eddie Lane, Mark Bowman, Brooks Logan, being joined by Mark Holter from Northern Outlaw Wrestling. In this day and age, as social media has become so prevalent, whereas in the 80s when I first started training, it was get the posters printed, put them up in the 7-Eleven windows on the phone poles, and pray nobody tore them down. And in this day and age where you've got the internet running so strong, is there any excuse whatsoever for anybody from either promotion side or talent side to not take advantage of social media outlets in order to promote the show and themselves?
No, I don't think so. I think that, you know, just like in the days of the territories where, you know, you would tape promos for upcoming events and drive it to the next town for TV or whatever, I mean, you utilized every bit of the ability that you had to get people to come to the shows. And now social media being so big, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, whatever, those tools are there, and if used correctly, can get more people to come to your shows. You have to use them. And as a worker, I think that, just speaking for myself personally as a booker, when I look for other people to bring in to our shows, that's where I look. Whether it's Facebook or, YouTube is a great resource for people. We have people get a hold of us, and, they're like, well, we'd love to get booked up there. And I'm like, that's great. Email me kind of your resume and include some promotional pictures, some, publicity shots, and a couple links so I can watch you work on YouTube. And it boggles my mind how often guys are like, well, I don't really have any promo pictures, and I don't have any matches up on YouTube. Well, how am I supposed to, as a promoter, to see what these guys can do if I can't take a look at them?
Exactly. In this day and age, everybody should have a way to get some, and complete matches, not highlights. Anybody can make a highlight reel. You really want to have complete matches start to finish, including entrances. Mabo, come on back in.
Right now, as everybody knows, WWE has WrestleMania. TNA has Bound for Victory,
Glory.
6 sides of whatever it is, Cage Steel. Everybody has their big card, their big pay-per-view event, or what have you. What would it be for Northern Outlaw Wrestling?
For us, it would be, and we just started doing this a couple of years ago, would be the Vegas 8, it's a one-on-one tournament that we run involving 8 guys over the course of 2 days. And of those 8 guys, we also, basically 4 matches the first night, 3 the second night. And then we fill in the rest of the card with, other what we would consider kind of blow-off matches of angles and feuds that have been going on throughout the first part of the year. And, that's pretty much it for us, the Vegas 8.
Brooks Logan, come on back in.
Just want to say that I sure hate that Wicked Nemesis got off the air, because this guy is talking right up his alley with managers. And,
exactly.
Man, he picked a fine time to leave, because he'd loved this guy. I just want to know how long you've been in the business yourself. How long you've been in wrestling? How long you've been doing this?
Sure. Our promotion, we've been around since 2008. Myself personally, growing up in North Dakota, when I was a kid, it was always syndicated TV or, cable TV. We didn't have anything locally here. When I was in high school, the AWA would come over and do shows here in Minot at the auditorium. So that was kind of my live event experience when I was a kid. So when I left North Dakota when I was 18 and went into the Navy, traveled around about, 1999. I was just getting ready to get out, and I was stationed in Chicago. And I had gone to a couple independent shows, which before that, I didn't even realize there was such a thing as independent wrestling. Here I am supposed to be this big wrestling fan my whole life, no clue. So I saw an ad for Windy City Pro Wrestling was running a weekend-long camp. And it was basically, if you want to see what wrestling's like, come check this out and do this. So I paid my money and I went and did it. And I couldn't believe how many guys were there. I mean, there was a few guys that were there. And did the camp, loved it, and didn't get an opportunity to stick around because I was going back to North Dakota. I got out. So I moved back here, convinced that I wanted to start a promotion, but had no one to talk to, had no contacts, had no idea really where to start. So that idea just kind of festered until about 2006. There was a guy that was running shows here in Minot. I contacted him. I said, hey, I'm really interested in getting involved, whether it's setting up the ring, doing your flyers, whatever. I just want to be involved. And he was nice enough to meet with me and give me an opportunity to come up with a manager character to do at the shows. And I was really interested in continuing to learn how to wrestle. My first opportunity was in May of 2006 to kind of get in there and learn, and ended up breaking my leg my first day. So that kind of put my in-ring dreams on the back burner for a while. So, but being that, I love wrestling so much, I started a magazine, which was called Indie Circuit Pulse, and I did that for about a year and a half. And it focused primarily on independent wrestling. That's, I discovered this, and I was passionate about it, and that's what I wanted to focus on. And for the year and a half that I did that magazine, it was almost like going to, if there was a school for independent wrestling, that's kind of what I equated to. I talked with everybody that would talk to me, which I found there were a lot of people that were nice enough to, answer my questions and give me information. And I learned that, there's a lot of guys out there that, want to get themselves out there and their names out there and stuff, so they were willing to also talk to me and send pictures. And during that time is when I learned about, like, Chikara and, different promotions around the U.S., and then also promotions abroad as well. Like, I had no idea that they had independent wrestling in Israel. At least they do, or they did, at least back then. But it's opened up this whole new world to me. So after that, in 2008, a couple of guys that I had known from the other promotion that I had worked briefly for contacted me and were interested in running shows up here in Minot. And I knew that I lived here and that, I had some connections here in town. Obviously, I live here. And I had another friend of mine, Wade Williamson, who was equally passionate about wrestling and wanted to be involved. So our friends from Minnesota had a ring. We arranged for a venue here in town, which I'll get into in a little bit. It's like, it was a match made in heaven, really. But December of 2008, we ran our first event, and we've been running since.
And speaking of events, if I may, coming up in the very near future, Northern Outlaw Wrestling. Doubleheader, March Metal Madness on March 8th and March 9th at the Vegas Motel in Minot, North Dakota. Tell us a little bit about the upcoming event.
Well, it's we're really excited about it because we're going to try something a little different. While the matches and, as many of our fans that come to our shows know, the matches are always solid because we are sticklers about, booking the best guys that we can book here and putting together the best matches that we can. But we've also got a couple of a local band, a local musician that are fans of Northern Outlaw Wrestling that offered to get involved with some kind of the musical aspect of it. And one of our musicians here, Justin Perez, actually wrote and played and produced the Savage's theme music, his entrance music. So, and we've had an angle going for sneaking up on a year and a half now between the Savage and the King of Throwdown, Venom. And they've been battling over the heavyweight title pretty much for a year and a half. And some of the matches those guys have just been amazing. I mean, they're two big guys, and they're slugfests, really. But also, some of the stuff these guys can do in the ring is just amazing. So we're having kind of their final matchup on Friday night, which is March 8th, and the King of Throwdown has challenged the Savage to a street fight match, which the fans always enjoy because the action always, of course, spills out of the ring and gets crazy around the venue. So the other local band that I mentioned, the Broadway Mob, are actually in the process of producing Venom's new entrance music. So we're going to have both of those groups performing each guy's entrance music live for the match, and then maybe a little bit of intermission too. So kind of intermingling, the time-tested theory of, pro wrestling and music. So.
Sounds like a blast in the making. How much are tickets going to be for the event?
In advance, general admission are going for $10, and ringside for $15. There'll be a little bit more at the door. Pretty affordable when you consider, taking your family to a movie.
Yeah.
You're going to spend twice what you would spend at our event. The venue that we're at is the Vegas Motel, which is a tremendous venue. They've got a big open atrium where we can pack, upwards of 400 people in there. And the restaurant Sevens there has a fully stocked bar if the fans are interested in drinking beer.
Hey.
Watch wrestling, which I'm always a big fan of. So it's going to be great.
Doors are going to open at 6 o'clock p.m. Bell time is set for 7 o'clock p.m. And this is the shameless part that everybody loves. I notice you've got sponsors for the event. Lay them on out there.
We do. We have, of course, the Vegas, which is, a great sponsor. Another sponsor that just came on recently that we're really excited about is Visit Minot, which is basically our city's Convention and Visitors Bureau. And they came to our Vegas 8 event just this past September, and the people that came fell in love with it and thought Northern Outlaw Wrestling would be a great company and great event to help bring people into town. So they came on board as a big sponsor, which we're really excited about. We've got Muse Lumber Hardware and Prairie Clippers, which is a barbershop here in town. I believe they're located at Home of Economy, I think is where they're at. So we're always looking for more. So,
and it's never too late to sign on, right?
That's right, never.
Mark, how can everybody keep track of Northern Outlaw Wrestling?
Well, we've got our website at www.northernoutlawwrestling.com, which I kind of keep track of, and it's always kind of in a state of updating, so some things aren't always completely 100% accurate. And then we've got our Twitter account at Northern Outlaw, and then, of course, our Facebook page.
What's the Twitter account?
It's Northern Outlaw, I believe, if that's right.
Okay.
And my wife and my dog just ran in my room and assaulted me. So apparently one of your co-hosts there egged on. So I had been assaulted. So mission accomplished.
It works wonders. Hey,
Mark, I told your wife I was talking to her. She's on Facebook. I told her to run in there and thump you on the ear.
See, that's the power of social networking.
There you go.
If you want an assault committed, it's done.
Mark, it's been great having you on, and the door is definitely open. Anytime Northern Outlaws got upcoming events, just keep us in the loop. We'd love to have you come back on.
Well, I'd love to be back. This was a blast. Anytime I get to talk to somebody about wrestling, I could talk for hours. So
be careful. So can we. Ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest at this time with Northern Outlaw Wrestling, Mr. Mark Holter, has just gone Beyond Ringside. Hang tough. We'll be back on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network in just a few. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your pick. Welcome back in one more time. We'll be on ringside on this Sunday night, going to 11 minutes before the top of the hour, getting ready to go because a couple of people want to watch The Walking Dead. Want to say a very special thank you to Mark Holter with Northern Outlaw Wrestling for coming on with us tonight. I had a great conversation with him. This Tuesday night, we've actually got a couple of things lined up for the Tuesday night conversations. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com. Let's bring him in one more time. Mark Babo Bowman, come on back.
Give that penis a sandwich.
Brooks Logan, you got to follow that comment.
No. I'm ready for I'm ready to watch Walking Dead.
There you go. Everybody is tonight, except for me. I'm going to be doing post-production. Gee, what a life I chose. Quick reminder once again.
Always working.
Amen.
Never take time for yourself, do you, Eddie?
Very rare. Actually, this is my me time.
Actually, no. He does take time for himself. Those 2.5 minutes he spends in the shower with the bottle of Pert Plus shampoo. You know what I'm saying? Giggity.
Hey, it's 2 in 1 for a reason there, buddy.
That way that technically counts as a menage a trois.
Kind of like the song by Brad Paisley. I can have a 2-on-1 chat, chat with two women at one time. There you go. 3-way chat with two women at one time. I sing the song almost every other week and I still forget the lyrics. Go figure. That's why I do it karaoke style and have the words in front of me. This coming Saturday, February the 16th. Yep. I think we may just be pulling the road trip to A Nightmare to Remember in Villa Rica, Georgia at the Bay Springs Middle School as part of A Nightmare to Remember 3. Thank you again to Terry the Rocker Lawler for coming on with us recently. Had a great conversation, catch up with him, and also an opportunity to find out exactly what's going on with A Nightmare to Remember 3. For our friends on Facebook, it's easy. Type in A Nightmare to Remember, Roman numeral 3. And you'll get all the information on the show. For our friends in East Alabama and over in Western Georgia, it's going to be a great show. It really will be. There is a very vicious rumor that the entire cast of Beyond Ringside may just show up. You never know. Also, next Sunday, February the 17th, we will be live on location at Buffalo Wild Wings in Trussville, Alabama. Looking forward to that. We're going to be going live at 5 until 6:55 p.m. And just before the Elimination Chamber, want to say a very special thank you to Joseph Palladino, Dino over at Buffalo's in Trussville. Chris West, the regional manager, thank you for giving the official okie dokie on everything, and looking forward to doing a lot of great things with Buffalo's in the upcoming future. And I've made the statement on Facebook. They have committed to Elimination Chamber. Next Sunday will determine whether or not they go ahead and go for WrestleMania. So, folks, we're counting on two things, and this is a straight shoot. For those who come hungry. And I ain't talking 6 wings and water. Also, if you're coming by yourself and you choose to sit at one of the big tables, you will be asked to share the table. Get over it. We can put out some sandy wipes and some hand wrap napkins or whatever else, but if you're sitting one at a big table, we'll either ask you to move or you're going to share the table. End of discussion.
And Eddie is referencing our last on-spot location at Buffalo Wild Wings on 150, where all of the stuff he just mentioned actually did happen.
It did. So. Back at Mania a couple of years ago.
And I got something to say back from the days when we used to do it at another establishment. First of all, you cheap bastards, one, pay your bill. Don't run, because it comes out of the poor waitress's check, probably. And two, don't be a cheap bastard. If you get good service, tip the ladies.
There you go.
If they throw you drinks or whatever and bring you food and are nice to you, tip them.
Yep.
Don't be a cheap bastard, you cheap bastard.
There you go. Mabo, last call.
No, we're going to go straight to shameless plugs, because somebody takes too long with introductions. Brooks Logan. Shameless plugs.
Man. Only thing got to plug is this show going to be on at the Buffalo Wild Wings, Trussville, and that's really all I got going on until this.
Do you have a Facebook Facebook and Twitter you would like to share with everybody?
Yes, sir. Brooks Logan at Twitter and on Facebook. So not hard to find.
And we swear next week Brooks will be sober and sound coherent. So tune in next week for that.
He is sober.
Mark Bowman, shameless plug. Why, yes, you can find me on Twitter, MA_BO. You can find me on Facebook, Mark Bowman. We will be at Buffalo Wild Wings in Trussville. We've said that for 867 times. Check out Sissy's Sweet Spots. They have delicious cupcakes. Go look them up on Facebook. And that's all I got, Eddie.
Wicked Nemesis, shameless plugs?
Wicked Nemesis, shameless plugs. All right, Fast Eddie Lane, shameless plug. Let's go.
At Fast Eddie Lane, LAYNE, run it all together. Also, be sure to check out FastEddieLane.com. Be sure to check out BeyondRingside.com, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. At Beyond Ringside over on Twitter, run it all together. Beyond Ringside is very damn simple. Once again, next Sunday, we'll be at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, going 5 o'clock until 7 o'clock for 2 hours. Yeah, right at it. Just before the Elimination Chamber. And once again, for our friends, we will be at Buffalo Wild Wings in Trussville. Thank you again to Mark Holter for joining us from Northern Outlaw Wrestling. Was hoping to catch up with Ricky O from Liberty States. Hopefully we can do that in the very near future. And keep your eyes on BeyondRingside.com for all upcoming show information. Catch us on iTunes, catch us on YouTube, catch us all the way across the board. And the To Be Determined show returns this coming Wednesday night, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. Special guest, the Dark Child, Chance Prophet. For the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis.
Thank you all for listening. Support your local independent wrestling. And I have a Godhawk.
For Brooks Logan.
I thought that was really him for a minute. Enjoyed it. Talk to you next time.
For Mark Mabo Bowman.
We will be taking Brooks to rehab over the next 7 days to get him off the NyQuil. And I'm going to go blow a penguin.
See, everybody's vices got covered. Until next time, this is the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Eddie Lane, the host and moderator for this fiasco of folly and fun called Beyond Ringside. We'll see you next Sunday. Adios, das vidania, hasta luego, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, sayonara, adieu, arrivederci, farewell, abasinho, au revoir, until we meet again. Aloha means bye-bye. Join us next Sunday, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, as we all go Beyond Ringside. Bye for now.